They're marketing the movie as, what if you had to fake the moon landing? The movie is not about that. And like we complain about so much in the show, the trailers misportrayed what the whole aspect of the film is and the heart of the film. And that's why I think it has bombed.
Welcome to the Untitled Film Project Podcast, where we ask you to go see the movie and then come talk about it with us. We're talking about Fly Me to the Moon, the romantic comedy, science, historical drama. It's not a real story. NASA needs to put Apollo 11 on the moon, but they're worried that public support and funding is going to go away, so they hire a marketing expert to make sure it's a success, even if it just looks like a success.
The space program is a bloated mess.
NASA needs a marketing specialist, and you are the very best.
Excuse me? What are you doing here?
I tracked you down because I felt we had a connection.
What?
I'm joking. I work here now to sell the moon.
We're also going to ask the big question on this episode, and this question is, what historical event would you like to see a fictitious take on in the movie theater? So the big question, as you know, on every episode of the Untitled Film Project Podcast is meant because we talk spoilers on this show. We're not a spoiler-free show. And so every podcast, though, if you haven't seen the movie, you can still skip aside to the big question and partake and listen to your most enjoyment. And this particular question is, what historical event would you like to see a fictitious take on in the theaters? We've seen plenty of moon movies. You guys, there's just way too many to name.
Moonfall.
I knew you were going to say that. We've seen plenty of movies. But Fly Me to the Moon reminded me of the majesty of the space program. I absolutely love this movie. I don't understand completely why it's getting hammered the way it is. It's so great to see a straightforward, not ridiculous comedy on the big screen. Fly Me to the Moon. Highly, highly recommend. It made me feel that majesty for the NASA program again.
Yeah.
All right.
Bradford, by the way, before he even talks, he's our resident space nerd. We actually went down to Cocoa Beach to watch Artemis launch.
See the shirt?
Yes.
And so Bradford's going to give us some real insight.
I'm the space nerd. I'm the weather nerd. I'm the nerd. I am the nerd.
You're the king nerd among nerds.
I'm the king nerds here. So there's a couple angles that I wanted to look at this from. So first of all, the space aspect of it, I was excited about the movie because I love space travel, learn about the Apollo program, with the future of it, with Artemis and everything. I was very curious about it because on the marketing angle, there's two things. As a marketer, because my day job is in marketing, I love the aspect of throwing in marketing and what it meant to bring access and attention to what they're trying to do, because you see that there are partnerships all over the place, whether it's with the government, sports, whatnot, to support things that you want to happen. So showing the fictitious way that they brought in Tang, watches, cars, everything, and how they were doing this and making it historical fiction made it fun for me from a marketing perspective. On the other end, the marketing of the film was because they're marketing the movie as, what if you had to fake the moon landing? The movie is not about that. It is saying the disaster that happens if you tried to fake it. So they're trying to market this as what happened if you had to fake it, because just in case. Yes, that is a big aspect of the movie, but that's not what this movie is about. And like we complain about so much in the show, the trailers misportrayed what the whole aspect of the film is and the heart of the film. And that's why I think it has bombed, is because they didn't portray it properly to get people to come to the theater.
I'm going to ask this question. Seriously, what's the heart of this movie?
The heart of this movie is the people.
Okay.
It's the people that made it happen, because you have this aspect
At NASA.
Okay. It's the heart and the mission and the reason why it was important, and not just for NASA, but for the American public as well, for this to happen. They had to sell that. That was the whole point of it. You had to sell this to the public to get them excited and interested. You see kids getting them excited. You see the general public. You see the government getting excited to believe in the science and the scientists that are a part of this.
And what could be possible.
Right. And you had this segment of the government that is not labeled, saying, well, this is really important to us for so many other reasons. We need to fake it just in case this doesn't happen, to the point of no matter what, we're going to air the fake. And that doesn't even happen because they made sure it didn't happen. It all fails. The heart of it is the people. And that's what's misportrayed in the trailers of it, because right off the bat in the movie, I'm going, well, that's not what this is about. Because you're when you say it's about faking the moon landing, you're reaching a very small segment of people that have a hamster running in their head.
Fringe conspiracy theorists, tinfoil hat,
that laugh at every NASA post and things like that, that they're dumb. They're absolutely dumb. Whereas you have a whole other segment of people that love being inspired.
You are so dumb.
You are so dumb.
If that's you, hit subscribe, and then you're welcome to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or leave a comment and tell us how stupid we are.
And watch our Priscilla episode. But the main segment of the American public especially wants to feel inspired by these things. They get inspired by space stories. We're inspired by things like Artemis. Well, yes, we know there's a huge cost behind it. You're inspired by what humans can accomplish. That's what inspires us. This dives into that because it shows more of what people can accomplish in trying to find their true selves. Am I looking really deeply into this? Yes, I am, because Scarlett Johansson's character of Kelly Jones, who is someone that is a con artist that comes out, she's a grifter. She does all these different types of things just to survive based on her childhood. There's more heart and character development in her of what she learns about the people behind this and why it's important for this to be accomplished, because you're celebrating the true human achievement. That's what should be marketing this film. All right. Not faking the freaking moon landing.
I'm gonna defend the people that had to market this movie.
Are you playing devil's advocate in this?
No.
Okay.
Because well, I'll get into this in a little bit. There are so many things to like about this movie. There's so many great performances, some great parts of the story. It's just, like, I can't tell you. Some of the stuff is really, really good. But is it a rom-com? You've got Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum, who have excellent chemistry together, right? Two really good, perfectly cast people for this role. So is it about them? Is it about her struggle? Is it about what NASA does? I think that the people involved with this movie, while they were making it and while they were marketing it, said, I don't know, we're like all these things. And I think when you're trying to be all these things, you're telling the marketing people, pick one. And they picked maybe the wrong one for you.
Yeah, right.
You know? So
and for a lot of people, because the movie's bombed.
Yes.
They made a bad decision.
And I maybe I'm going to tell you, like, my initial take is this is a perfect streaming movie. It is not a perfect theatrical release.
Right.
Even though I think everybody in it is really good. I think the story is really good. I think this is the kind of thing you're going, I don't know, what are we going to watch? Oh, yeah, Fly Me to the Moon.
It's not going to draw you to the theater.
Yeah, let's put that on. It's not going to pull you to the theater.
Right.
And I know most people don't pay attention to the movies the way we do, but if you hear any inkling that this was created by Apple and they're going to stream it real soon, kind of like, what they do with some similar films, Killers of the Flower Moon, you're going, well, I'm just going to, I'll wait a month. I'll see it on Apple Plus. So, and it deserves a wait, even though I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. From so many different perspectives that I nerd about, which is marketing and space and everything. I really enjoyed myself. Scarlett Johansson was great, and I love how they used
She brings it all.
Original footage and everything. They tied so much in to make it a historical fiction that you start questioning what's real and what's not. And you know that Cole Davis is based on Gene Kranz, who is the actual launch director for Apollo 11. And so there's different characters you can see that are inspired by realness, or where you start wondering, okay, well, the astronauts, those are the real names of the real astronauts. But all the other people...
couldn't change those to...
you couldn't change those too much.
But with, like, Woody Harrelson's character
but I enjoyed myself so much watching this that I was laughing. I was feeling it. I was into the movie. I just had a good time. I can totally agree with what Jim's saying about it can wait. This is not something you have to see on the big screen. You're not feeling the launch, because it's not necessarily about the rocket launch like so many other space movies are, to feel the rocket thrust behind you and everything like that. There's nothing like that movie. This is a feel-good type of movie with plenty of humor, but it's not necessarily a rom-com. It's a category in its own, because there's so many different things. So I can see where you're coming from, Jim. Yeah. And I understand it is difficult to choose. They just chose poorly.
So, guys, the beginning sequence, right, when they're kind of educating the audience and getting you up to speed of the history of the NASA space program, and they're kind of like, obviously they have to fill in the gaps of the Channing Tatum's character's allegiance and responsibility to Apollo 1. Because they revisit that throughout. But that opening sequence is all about like how the Russians went to space first. And
giving people the context.
Correct. And I so disappointed that there was no mention of Ham, the chimp,
I knew
in
where it was
there.
going, yeah.
They went through all this stuff, like the Russians are here, and they launched a dog, and they launched the astronaut, a cosmonaut into space, and he came back safely, and and the Americans had this thing, and they tried to do this, and then all of a sudden I was like, wait, where? No mention of Ham?
You wanted focus on the ham.
I wanted to one
mention,
one line,
quick mention,
one line,
or a flash of a newspaper front page on the screen.
Yeah, chimp goes to space.
Yeah,
any acknowledgement of Ham's because again, I know it's like a personal touch because
I appreciate your passion,
right? But it doesn't make if you're going to educate everybody on the history of the program, that's a huge step. He was the first one to come back safe, and you just glossed it like it wouldn't even exist. It's just weird.
That's 2 points for Gopher, probably.
No, 1.
Okay.
So, the last thing I'll say, as far as my deeper dive and all these things, is that I did not care, as Jim liked the perfect casting. I thought Channing Tatum was very plastic. He just didn't bring anything. It looked like he wanted to be anywhere else other than filming that movie.
I think that was the character.
I understand that, but even when he got like emotional, like when the role called for an emotional delivery or getting angry or maybe being funny or trying to, it just looked like he was coasting. It just looked like that to me. Now again, maybe he studied the real guy, and that's how he talked. He was kind of monotone, and he was like maybe. But Ray Romano's side character, who's on screen for maybe a grand total of 6 minutes,
but is great.
He acted circles around Channing Tatum, and I don't know if he just was. I don't know what the choice was there, or if he really was disinterested. I'm not sure.
No, I can see where you're coming from. I think because the focus for me, my eyes are always gravitated towards Scarlett because how she played her role was just.
I'm getting to that on my final score,
and she owns it.
Yeah,
I mean she brings everything
That's what
she does.
Yes,
everything to this movie. Yeah.
Now, quick moment.
Ham.
Of
sorry.
What made me laugh the most during this was a wonderful cameo.
Okay.
From Scarlett Johansson's husband.
Yes.
Oh, that was awesome.
The audience. Oh my God.
Colin Jost.
I wasn't even paying attention to the dialogue.
That was
just
awesome.
like, oh, they got him. And because he played an idiot too.
Lunar laser? They can do that?
Yes. And then you add the backstory of the whole Weekend Update, Colin Jost, Michael and how they
great.
They've made him rip his wife's movies by doing that whole writing each other's lines, and oh my God, that was like a extra element of that was delicious.
But if my parents went and saw this. Right, who are of age to remember the landing, right?
Yeah.
So if they went and saw this, they would have no idea, and you don't have to.
Right.
It just adds that level of if you know the pop culture part of it that they're actually married. It's so
it also shows how dumb some government officials can be too. I mean, it was it was a great comedic moment.
I don't doubt that there was that guy who was that way.
Of course, 100%.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everything was in doubt until they pulled it off, right? What did you think of the way NASA came off on this? Because we've got, on one hand, part of the script in the narrative of this movie is faking the moon landing, which kind of pisses me off. Just the thought of it, right? Because I can't stand the people that are idiots, that they will believe, that government can't even, put a stamp on an envelope. And then the next second they're saying, and they pulled off the greatest hoax in history. And this only feeds that. So I got a little pissed off about that.
Does it really though?
Yeah, because technology was so good back then that you could have pulled that off. Okay.
Yeah.
Does it really though feed it? I don't know if it does.
I'll put it this way. It feeds people that probably won't go see the movie anyway or watch it on Apple Plus.
Okay.
But it just says, see, everybody knows it's fake.
To me, as someone who knows it was real, of course, okay,
Yes.
And believes it was real, it gives credence. Maybe this is where you're going with this. It gives credence to the rumors and the theory that they shot it all on a backstage and Stanley Kubrick was the director and all this crap. Okay.
Yep.
It gives credence to that in the sense that not like it happened, but that it could happen.
Right.
And I think that's an intriguing part of this whole movie is the historical, like, okay, basically here's how I have no insight on this. I have not read this, but this is how I feel this movie was written. The genesis of the idea was somebody's like, I kind of want to do a moon movie. Okay, but are we going to do it about the fake moon landing or are we going to do a real moon landing? And someone's like, why don't we do both? And then how do we do that?
That could be.
And then it was written. How do you? It was the problem of the plot was how do we show that both could exist in the same world, and they put them together,
and how difficult it would be to actually pull off faking it too.
Yes,
because that's I think the key is that they don't. In the trailer part is that they're not discussing how difficult it would have been to shot for shot do all this with how'd you make the strings disappear, and then all of a sudden a cat runs loose.
Yes,
in the studio and everything. All the things would have had to gone right to really, truly pull it off properly.
Yes.
And no one noticed.
And even if it was real, even if they really did shoot, just for sake of argument, okay? If they really did shoot on a side stage this kind of mock scene because they wanted broadcast footage and they weren't sure they could have broadcast footage from the moon. For flight of fancy, let's say they actually did that. It still shows that it really did happen. The lunar landing.
Yes.
Right.
So to me, it doesn't feed it at all. To me, it's more of a fun take on a actual historical event that takes a theory that's ridiculous and stupid, but also somewhat believable to a faction of people, and then takes a real life event, blends them together, and shows how it could happen. And I think that's honestly the point of art.
Yeah.
The point of art is to have a problem and solve it in an artistic way. Fly Me to the Moon does that.
And they did it with humor.
Yes.
Plenty of humor.
Yes.
Yep.
But not ridiculous humor.
Right.
It's not Ace Ventura.
No.
It's not. It's a straightforward comedy.
Yes.
I thought it was awesome.
All right, let's score Fly Me to the Moon, starring Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum.
Scarlett Johansson was magnetic. I mean, magnetic. My eyes went to her every single time, not because of her beauty, but because she has such charisma on screen, believable, fun. The entertaining script writing too. It's not just all about her. I mean, the fact that she walks in when you introduce her and she's pregnant. She does the whole thing as she's a pregnant woman, and even does the whole mid sentence, and then you go to the elevator and find out she's not really pregnant; it's a pillow, right? And then she goes to the diplomat's house, the senator's house, and he goes, "Tell me in your bag of tricks you've got a Louisiana accent." She doesn't do it for him. Wife opens the door, boom, Louisiana accent, and it's so funny. It's not ridiculous. It's so awesome. So Scarlett Johansson was magnetic. Channing Tatum was very forgettable in my opinion. Again, he was fine. But it looked like he wanted to be anywhere else. The marketing of this movie let down a movie about marketing 7.0.
Nice. I like that.
I liked it so much, you guys. I actually went back twice. I saw it at the screener, and I told my wife and my son, I go, you got to go see this.
Oh, okay.
And I took them to see it, and they loved it.
I was about to say, what did they think?
They loved it.
All right.
It's
Terrific.
so fun.
It is.
But yikes. What are you doing? Marketers, what are you doing?
Yeah. That is,
I'll consult if you need it.
not good. Yes.
Yeah, there's two professional marketers on this show, by the way.
Bradford's available. Gover will make himself available only if you put in a reference to Ham the Chimp.
Yeah.
Oh, Ham would have been in there.
It's in the contract.
Yeah.
Okay. I like this movie a lot. I think it has so much going for it. This is a really likable movie. This is one I would say, okay, let's get together. We're all getting in front of the TV, fire up the microwave and some popcorn. Let's watch Fly Me to the Moon.
Yeah.
I just it as much as I liked it and all the performances, I felt it was a streaming movie when I was in the theater. So I'll leave it at that. I'm going to give this movie a 6.5. I was really kind of edging between that and 7, but I'm going to go with 6.5. Go over. Or Bradford.
Just echoing Gover's thoughts, Scarlett Johansson just commands a screen.
Yeah.
She played the role so well. And it's those just moments where an actress plays an actress. Like in so many ways, like it's very meta in how she can switch her personality, that her character can switch to a different personality. So that's two different characters. So she's trying to be her character in another character. That takes a lot of talent to pull off.
Heck of a thing to pull
and
off.
command it on the screen. And just from the marketing perspective, what she does to convince people, I loved it and I ate it up because as someone in marketing, you're trying to sell something. Maybe it's not marketable, or maybe it's something you truly do believe in, that you were told so many things that you are passionate about it. You're going to do anything possible to make it happen. And that's what it becomes for her as well, is it becomes something truly that she's passionate about because she believes in what we discussed earlier, the people.
Yes.
Becomes the people, because it starts off with how they're faking the people that are in it. Like, we're going to cast and recast these true people and to be actors. Well, then it becomes, no, we're going to market the people behind this and how important this is, and believing the importance behind this. Yes, how much better it is to believe in the program, to sell the program, because it's not just her job. She then believes in it as well. And you will believe in a project or an organization or something. You have stakes in it as well, too. You're going to sell it so much better. So just from a marketing perspective, I really like that. I just love the historical fiction aspect because it made it really enjoyable. While so much of it is not real, they base everything in what is real and also show the fun behind NASA and the Apollo program as well, too. It's just an enjoyable movie. Like Jim said, you can get your whole family to watch this. I just enjoyed myself, and I want to watch it again, and I will give it a 7.
All right. Fly Me to the Moon. What did you think? Let us know. But first, let's ask the big question.
Every episode of the Untitled Film Project Podcast, we do a big question segment because we are a spoiler show. We don't kind of hold back things. So therefore, you kind of have to see the movie before you come watch it, before you come listen to us. So we kind of counteract that by every episode having a big question where you can just participate no matter what.
Doesn't matter.
It does not matter at all. So in this particular one, very related to the Apollo 11 program and the so fake moon landing and Fly Me to the Moon in general. What historical event would you like to see a fictitious take on the silver screen?
All right.
Bradford, let's go first.
Okay. So there's probably been documentaries or slight historical dramas that are made for TV on this, but we're talking about flight and space and everything. But I'd love to see historical fiction, especially because there's a brothers aspect to this, that you could have some fun with it to make it historical fiction, and it'd be on the Wright brothers.
Oh, that'd be neat.
And the first flight at Kitty Hawk in 1903.
I'd love to know more about that.
And I think there'd be more because you could have, if you cast properly, 2 brothers. Yes, there's a serious aspect to this because they're trying to accomplish a goal of being the first flight, right?
Yeah.
But what leads to it, what happens with it, you're already built in to have a yin and yang type of thing, right? To have 2 people that could work really well with charisma. And I'm not sure who you could cast by any means, but I'm saying there's opportunity there to make a really intriguing, fun film behind the Wright brothers if you cast it really well.
And my history may be wrong because I was not always paying attention in history, but I'm pretty sure that at the same time that the Wright brothers were working on this in their garage, that there was people in the military with all kinds of engineering experience and all this kind of stuff that were tasked with make a plane fly. And now you've got like competing interests, which would make a great movie because you've got the underdogs who actually make history.
Yeah, I think there's so many aspects of it. I think it could be an intriguing enough movie if you do it properly. There's plenty of story there to tell, for sure.
I love that.
Jim.
I just learned about this story last night.
Okay.
And I'm going, wow, that would be a really interesting movie. And it has a slight tie to movies. But I was listening to audiobook, Strength to Strength from Arthur C. Brooks. And it's a thing about kind of like where you go in midlife and how you transform yourself and have a happy life. I highly recommend it. But he tells the story of John DeLorean. Now, the only reason you may know about John DeLorean is because he was the man who started a company that made that silver, amazing-looking car in Back to the Future that went back in time. Okay? That was a real car that people could buy. And hearing about his story was he was a gung-ho executive at one of the big, car companies, and he was thinking, unlike anybody else, and he was on the rise, and he quit working for, this giant manufacturer to start his own company to sell these cars, which were made of stainless steel. It was like they were the Cybertruck of the day, right? And like he had all these crises. So this is kind of like a biopic, right? John DeLorean, he hits this like stage of life where he, while he's trying to start this company, he's also going through like a midlife crisis, and he, I think, divorces his wife and marries somebody half her age. All the midlife crisis stereotypes. Yeah. And marries somebody younger than her, gets plastic surgery, has his teeth done. He's doing anything to regain the youth, including trying to start up this company. And then he ends up divorcing her and marrying somebody even younger because he's never satisfied. And this company falls apart because those DeLoreans were made terribly. They were a piece of junk as far as manufacturer reliability and all that. And to save his dying car company, he accepts an offer from what he thinks is a drug lord to help finance his company to keep it going. Turns out that drug lord was a plant from, law enforcement. Okay. And he was convicted. That was eventually overturned because they said it was entrapment. But I'm like, oh my God, this guy's story would be so interesting. And if you haven't, I've been racking my brain to know it's got to be somebody maybe in their 50s or late 50s, 60s that would be playing this role. But I'm like, why has that not been made into a movie?
It feels like that could be one that could almost be turned into a ridiculous comedy.
It could.
They almost could do like full on Seth Rogen.
It could.
Like if you could go that route because of all the divorces, getting crammed by a drug lord and everything.
Right.
That has all the makings of ridiculous drug comedy too.
It is. And I don't think those are like mutually exclusive. You can have all that stuff that's funny. We can laugh
while
at.
Still telling the story.
While also telling this guy's like tragic story that it was self-inflicted. Right?
Right. Like that's what makes it a comedy.
Yes. So I would like to see the story of John DeLorean.
Great answer outside the box. Both of you have wonderful outside the box answers.
I just heard about him last night.
Mine is not going to be. Mine is going to be the JFK assassination.
Oh, geez. Okay.
I'm going full drama here.
Okay.
I think there should be some sort of tale about, maybe we focus in on a book depository worker or something like that who knows Oswald and comes and goes, doesn't, really. And then finally the big day happens and then how their life changes. Okay. That's kind of how I would do it. I know Stephen King has done, with James Franco, I believe, did a kind of a mini series or something called 11/22/63 where he was like a teacher. His character was a teacher. He's a time traveler, came back, tried to stop the assassination. That's fascinating and fine. But I would love to have some sort of fictitious drama actually at the assassination. I'm obsessed with the JFK assassination. So that was immediately where my head went when this question came up was, okay, how can I do that? That's not the Stephen King thing.
Right.
Or Oliver Stone.
Yeah. Which again, technically is fictitious, of course.
Sure.
But more,
You want it more reality based.
Yeah. I mean,
even though it could be that person's story is made up, but everything else is correct, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some sort of, I don't even know what it would even be. I just know that I'd love to have it based in and around Dallas, the November 63, and have some sort of compelling story there that doesn't necessarily affect the situation. Or maybe they were on the grassy knoll and they slowly go crazy over the movie because they know there was whatever it is. I would love to see the JFK assassination get the treatment for a fake, what is it? Historical fiction.
Historical fiction.
That's where I keep missing. Historical fiction piece on the silver screen.
I like it. Thanks for hanging out with us. As we always do, we talk movies, and we do it with you. This is the Untitled Film Project Podcast, and now he winks knowingly. Justin Bradford, how can people reach us and tell us what they think of the either the big question or Fly Me to the Moon?
Well, we're on social media, Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube. Just go and leave us a comment. You can find our link to all those on all of our social media. Untitled Film Project Podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Untitled Film Project Podcast. To support the show, please rate, review, follow, and subscribe. Original music by Jeremy Schwartz. Special thanks to the Music City Film Critics Association. Editing and post-production by Jeremy K. Gover. Voiceover by Chad Bennett.